Okay, now we're going to talk about bonds that are not issued at par value. So the first example here is going to be bonds issued at a discount. If the contract rate, or the rate it says on the bond, also known as the coupon rate, is less than the market rate, then we would issue the bond at a price that was lower than the actual principal amount. In other words, if we were issuing, or if IBM was issuing a $100,000 bond here at 8% for a 5-year time frame, we have to go to the underwriters and say, what do you think we're going to offer? Well, it's offered at 8%. By the time the bonds actually get ready to issue, the market may have moved. Usually not this much, but we actually use even numbers for a reason I'll tell you about later. But if the market now can earn 10%, well, who's going to come and invest in a financial vehicle, our bond, that'll get them 8% when they can go out to the market and get 10%? They're not. So the answer is we're going to give them a $100,000 bond at a slight discount. In other words, we're going to accept money less than $100,000 from the investor. Maybe it'll be 98,000, maybe it'll be 97,500. We don't know. We'll calculate that in a minute. But we'll accept slightly less, and we will still actually pay them back $100,000, even though they didn't give us the full 100,000. Okay, so that's called a bond issuance at a discount. Okay, so here we go. It says find the issue price, find the journal entries for the issue, calculate the interest payments, and also we got to do the journal entry at maturity. Okay, first things first. Okay, it's a $100,000 bond. No matter what we collect, we're saying it's $100,000. That's what the paper says. We're going to pay 8%. We're going to pay back 100,000 5 years down the road. So let's figure out the interest payments. We always use the full principal, 100,000. We always use the coupon rate. This is critical. Not the market rate, the coupon rate, or the contract rate, 8% times half a year. Okay, well, 1% of 100,000 would be 1,000 times 8% would be 8,000. Oh, but it's half a year, so it's 4,000. Do the math. 1/2 times 0.08 times 100K, $4,000 payments every 6 months. That's the first thing you've got to do. You've got to be solid on that. Okay, now, just like the last one, the last problem we showed, to find the actual issue price, remember it'll be less than 100,000, we got to find the net present value using the market rate. Okay, so it was a 5-year bond. All bonds are semi-annual unless we state otherwise. Therefore, the 5%, or I'm sorry, the 8% interest rate, let me go back here. The 5-year term, 2 payments a year, means n equals 10. Okay, now we're using the market rate because this is the cost of money right now. So 10%, cut it in half because it's twice a year. Okay, 10% per year means 5% every 6 months. So interest rate got cut in half. Notice we cut the 10% in half, not the 8. Okay, 8% is what it says on the paper, the contract or the coupon rate. We use the market rates here when we're evaluating the time value of money. So I took the 10%, cut it in half. I took the 5-year term of the bonds and I said 10 periods because it's every 6 months. 5 years would be 10 6-month periods. So there you go. Now for the annuity, I go to table B3. I'm going to look up n equals 10, I equals 5. I come up with 7.72 times 4K gives me 31 grand, approximately 30,887. Okay, that's the net present value today of locking in this annuity, $4,000 every 6 months at 5%. Okay, hope you got that. Now, what's the value of getting the principal back? Well, this principal is worth quite a bit more than the interest payments, unlike the last time, because it's a short-term bond. Okay, and so again, if I figure these properly up here, they're going to be the same numbers here. 5 years, which means n equals 10 6-month periods in 5 years. The interest rate was, again, the market rate was 10%, but I cut it in half to get 5% every 6 months. That's 10% per year. So now I multiply and 100,000, that's my principal. Even though they don't give us 100,000, that's what we're going to pay them back. This is a discount, okay? So now I go to a different table, table B1. This is the present value of an amount, and I go pull the number 0.6139 times 100K, and I get 61,391. Add these two up, and you get some number less than 100 grand. It's a pretty steep discount, really. It's almost 8%, right? $100,000, but I only paid 92. It's 8% off, rough, almost. Okay, so what this means is the 92,278 is way less than the face value of the principal. These discounts aren't normally that steep, but what it means is that if we've got a big separation between the rate we're paying on our bond and the market rate, 10%, then what this means is we've got to pay a pretty steep discount just to get people to come and actually invest in that bond. Okay, hope that helps.